Oisín's Mother, Chapter 1. Evening was drawing nigh, and the Fianna Finn had decided to hunt no more that day. The hounds were whistled to heel, and the sober homeward march began. For men will walk soberly in the evening, however they go in the day, and dogs will take the mood from their masters. They were pacing so through the golden shafted, tender-coloured eve, when a fawn leaped suddenly from the covert, and with that leap all quietness vanished. The men shouted, the dogs gave tongue, and a furious chase commenced. Fionn loved a chase at any hour, and with Bran and Sciolán he outstripped the men and dogs of his troop, until nothing remained in the limpid world but Fionn, the two hounds, and the nimble, beautiful fawn. These and the occasional boulders round which they raced, or over which they scrambled, the solitary tree which dozed aloof and beautiful in the path, the occasional clump of trees that hived sweet shadow as a hive hoards honey, and the rustling grass that stretched to infinity, and that moved and crept and swung under the breeze in endless rhythmic billowings. In the wildest moment Fionn was thoughtful, and now, although running hard, he was thoughtful. There was no movement of his beloved hounds, and he did not know, not to twitch or fling of the head, not a cock of the ears or tail, that was not significant to him. But in this chase, whatever signs the dogs gave were not understood by their master. He had never seen them in such eager flight. They were almost utterly absorbed in it. But they did not whine with eagerness, nor did they cast any glance towards him for the encouraging word which he never failed to give when they sought it. They did look at him, but it was a look which he could not comprehend. There was a question and a statement in those deep eyes, and he could not understand what that question might be, nor what it was they sought to convey. Now and again one of the dogs turned ahead in full flight, and stared, not at Fionn, but distantly backwards, over the spreading and swelling plain where their champions of a hunt had disappeared. They were looking for the other hounds, said Fionn. And yet they do not give tongue. Tongue it, Avran, he shouted. Bell it out, Sciolán. It was then they looked at him, the look which he could not understand and had never seen on the chase. They did not tongue it nor bell it, but they added silence to silence and speed to speed, until the lean grey bodies were one pucker and lashing of movement. Fionn marvelled. They do not want the other dogs to hear or to come on this chase, he murmured, and he wondered what might be passing within those slender heads. The fawn runs well, he thought, continued. What is it, Avran, my heart? After her, Sciolán. Hist and away, my loves. There is going and to spare in that beast yet, his mind went on. She is not stretched to the full, nor half stretched. She may outrun even God, he thought ragingly. They were racing through a smooth valley in a steady, beautiful, speedy flight, when suddenly the fawn stopped and lay on the grass. And it lay with the calm of an animal that had no fear, and the leisure of one that is not pressed. Here is a change, said Fionn, staring in astonishment. She is not winded, he said. What is she lying down for? But Bran and Sciolán did not stop. They added another inch to their long, stretched, easy bodies, and came up on the fawn. It is an easy kill, said Fionn regretfully. They have her, he cried. But he was once again astonished, for the dogs did not kill. They leaped and played about the fawn, licking its face and rubbing delighted noses against its neck. Fionn came up to them. His long spear was lowered in his fist and at the thrust, and his sharp knife was in its sheath, but he did not use them, for the fawn and the two hounds began to play around him, and the fawn was as affectionate towards him as the hounds were, so that when a velvet nose was thrust in his palm, it was as often a fawn's nuzzle as a hound's. In that joyous company he came to Wide Allen of Leinster, where the people were surprised to see the hounds and the fawn and the chief, and none other of the hunters that had set out with him. When the others reached home, the chief told of the chase, and it was agreed that such a fawn must not be killed, and that it should be kept and well treated, and that it should be the pet fawn of the Fianna. But some of those who remembered Bran's parentage thought that Bran himself had come from the Sidhe, so this fawn might have come out of the Sidhe also.